Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Excited to talk to you about a couple of things today. This will be a two-part episode. Part one is me talking about I sold the Ranger Z518, and you know, I'm a little sad about it, but also pretty excited about it because part two of this video is going to be about, well, what did I replace it with and why. So first and foremost, I'm going to break down a few things that I think the Ranger delivered that I really was excited to get. But I want to explain those of you who, you know, whether you're a weekend angler like me, an amateur, but what I was attempting to do in this last 2 years with this Ranger was I wanted to competitively fish. I learned a few lessons from that, you know, that I want to have a little bit of humility and share with you guys, especially if you're like me and you're getting new into the sport, on what my boat delivered on that I needed, but what I missed that I started figuring out real quick that if I really wanted to take this serious and competitively fish, there's a few things that the Ranger just would not deliver on. So we'll break that down, and then the part two of this episode is, okay, so what did I end up going with, and what were the features and benefits of the new boat? Well, let's start with part one. I'm putting gas in the truck, and I've got a pretty good hour in front of me to go pick up the new rig. So let's break down a little bit of the Ranger Z518. What were the pros of that boat? What were the cons of that boat? And then what am I excited about boat number two? All right, so let's start with the pros, because look, I want to give Ranger due credit. It's a quality boat. You know, in terms of affordability, I would say that 18-foot boat, hands down, I'd recommend to buy it for a couple of reasons. Not only just because of the price point and what it gives you, but also some of the other ancillary benefits such as storage. I mean, when you have an 18-foot boat and you got a standard 21-foot, 22-foot garage, that boat's going to fit. It's going to fit most likely in any garage, and that really saves you on storage, which is a big deal for me. I mean, you want to be able to wake up, hook up your boat, and go, and not have to be out the fee for storage because of the length of the boat, and in fact it won't fit in your garage. The ancillary benefits too to the Ranger 18-foot boats, if you buy certain packages, you're going to be able to get what I did, which was a Tournament Elite package, which they offered at that time, which got you the manual jack plate. So you did get a jack plate, but you also got two graphs. You got a nice Lowrance graph in the front, a Lowrance graph at the console, which, you know, good graphs. Lowrance, a really great graph. I think especially, you know, for tournament anglers, it's good. But you know, you get a live well system, but the live well system does have certain limitations, and we'll talk about that in a second. But outside of that, I mean, you get a good quality boat. I got the 200 Pro XS, which Mercury, another pro I would say is that Mercury was a great motor. I know there's a lot of boat forums out there not happy with Mercury and the quality of the product they've been putting out, but I was really happy with the Merc and its performance. You can go back and look some of my videos. That was a fast boat. I mean, it would get you to point A to point B. That being said, because of the length, and I'll talk about the cons here in a second, if you had to be on a pretty slick day to be able to run safely, smoothly, and to get to where you need to get in an efficient manner, especially if you're fishing bass fishing tournaments and you're trying to get to the spots that you want to get to that you've marked. But overwhelmingly, I would say great boat, trailer good. I think the quality of the trailer was great, and also, you know, depending on your tire package and all that, just the look and on all the features for what you buy, quality boat, and there was nothing wrong with it. And if you go back and look at the videos, I did go and add a few things like live foot to move my active target, which I installed also, and then I also installed power poles, which added, you know, several $1,000s ultimately, but really that's what I think you need in this sport today, especially if you want to compete, not just also to take advantage of some of the cool technology that's out there. All right, so that's the pros. Let's talk a little bit about some of the cons. Okay, so cons of the boat. We talked about it's an 18-foot boat. Well, here's the cons to that. I fish Lake Sam Rayburn on a very frequent basis. Lake Sam Rayburn, if you've never fished it out in East Texas, or if you fished a lake like Toledo Bend, based off the direction and how that lake faces, the depth, no matter if you're getting a north wind, no matter if you're getting a southeasterly wind, that's a choppy lake. It just rolls and rolls and rolls based off the shape of the lake, and you could be 10 to 15 mile an hour in your whitecap, and not just smalls. You're talking some pretty large whitecaps. And so to get around on that lake, if you have anything less than a 20-foot boat, I would say comfortably 20-foot boat, you know, you're taking on some waves. You're potentially nosing into a few things that depending on what side of the lake you're on, which side of the wind's blowing, how fast the wind's blowing, can actually be a little bit of a dangerous boat to try to run on a lake like Rayburn, even Toledo Bend. Seatbelts on, fellas, ladies. All right, so let's talk about some of the other things that I feel are cons as it relates to the Z518, and you know, really things that you want to consider in the technology that's available today, and really what's available on standard boats these days versus, you know, when I bought in. You know, most boats nowadays, even to get into the mid package, you're going to find that power poles, 12-inch graphs, forward-facing sonar, even in some cases, certain live well capabilities are actually standards on the boat. So, you know, that's a big deal. When you're starting to buy into a boat, you really need to see the accessories. And here's what I would recommend is shop every brand. If it's Phoenix, if it's Skeeter, Ranger, Nitro, you know, all these boat manufacturers, that see what you're buying in that middle road, meaning like not the smallest of the band, but probably that, if you're thinking of like a Chevrolet, like, you know, you got your work truck, then you've got your LE, then you got your, you know, whatever Texas edition, and then your next level up truck. You know, think that middle of the road truck where, you know, maybe it's got leather seats, but it doesn't necessarily have the self-driving capabilities. Well, boats are the same way. Right now, those middle grade boats, you're going to get power poles, you're going to get decent graphs, and live well capabilities and systems in the live well that are actually pretty good, that you really, really need. And so for me, the cons of the Ranger were I had to add the live, the power poles. That's expensive. I mean, it cost me for the anchors probably a little over $4,000. And then also I had to I eventually updated the graphs. I ended up getting a dedicated graph to my active target, so I could map and see the forward-facing sonar at the same time. And then, you know, just overall capabilities and things like the manual jack plate. I didn't realize how big of a deal that would be, not having a hydraulic jack plate, until you're starting to want to adjust prop to pad, you know, performance of your boat based off certain conditions. That actually became a really, really big deal. So, you know, outside the manual jack plate, a couple other things that I think are incredibly important if you're thinking about tournament fishing are, you know, you really want to have a rig that's going to sustain your fish. And in the Ranger, the con that I have with that one is it had the pump in, the pump out feature, recirculated, no oxygenator, and you know, that's going to require a lot of work on you, a lot of stress on your fish, and it's just going to decrease the odds of you, if you're fishing all day, especially in this heat, you know, especially in the weather that we've had lately, of you getting fish, you know, weighed in and then back safely and protect our fishery. The last thing, con for me with the Ranger, is the storage system itself. I didn't realize how important it was for the rod locker to be as free as it can be, fit as many rods as you can. I actually thought the storage system was really cool. It had the tubes, the rod racks, the bungees, and I was thinking, you know, from an organizational standpoint, it's going to keep it clean, keep the rods separate from getting tangled up, but it actually limited the amount of rods that you could fit in the locker. And as I've now, you know, fished a lot more, and you know, I fish 2 different species on a regular basis. I crappie fish and I also bass fish. You know, to keep the different rods that I want to keep in the boat, the different tackle, I mean, I would always have to take stuff in and out of the boat. Ideally, I'd just like to keep everything I can organized in the boat. So no matter what I'm fishing for, I can just go in and grab what I need and essentially go fish. So really looking forward to this new boat, which is going to have endless amount of storage for the tackle and the rods that I'm going to be fishing with. So with that concludes part 1 of this part 2 series. Again, really wanted to kind of explain the logic I had behind, you know, why did I get rid of the Ranger? What did I like about it? What did I not like about it? Again, it's a great boat, but for what I'm doing now and what I'm learning about boats and what they offer today, I think you guys could go out and snag a pretty good deal and get more features and benefits, and the price points are coming down. The market's changing a little bit for the better for consumers. It is what it is. As stuff gets more expensive, demand is going to drop, and then at the end of the day, they got to sell boats. I mean, look at these car lots, look at these boat lots. There's a lot of inventory sitting around, and I think here in the next few months, consumers are going to get to take advantage of that. So here in a few minutes, we're going to pull up to the lot, and then part 2 of this episode will start on what I'm moving into next. I'm excited to show you guys this boat, what I was able to get, and the rebates and prices that are available to the consumer. So if you like this video, be sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Looking forward to part 2 of this episode. I hope you found it informational if you're thinking about going out and buying a boat yourself, or if you're just kind of curious, you know, what's the market look like and what are boats coming with these days. I'll certainly go into depth on that. Okay guys, I'll see you on the next video. Have a great one. Take care.